Bola Tinubu is facing numerous legal challenges resulting from cases filed by many petitioners. One of such cases is the case of certificate forgery brought forward by the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. As part of the case filed at the ongoing Presidential Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja, Atiku and the PDP presented several documents purportedly proving their case that Bola Tinubu misled INEC about his true identity and therefore should be removed as the president of Nigeria. The documents presented to the tribunal led by Justice Haruna Samani are as follows. 1. Tinubu's certificate of service from Mobile Oil Nigeria PLC. This forms part of his work records. It establishes his identity, including names and date of birth. Number 2, a copy of Bola Tinubu's Guinean passport. This too is meant to do the same thing, but beyond that, it is meant to show that Bola Tinubu was not fully honest with INEC as he did not disclose the existence of this document nor his acquisition of the citizenship of another country to INEC. Number 3, a copy of Bola Tinubu's certificate from Chicago State University. This certificate shows the gender as female according to the petitioners. This is crucial. You cannot be a male in some documents and female in another, especially a document as important as a certificate from a school. As we shall see later, people have been removed from office in Nigeria for far less. So why not Tinubu? Moreover, if it was an honest mistake, as I suspect they are going to claim in their defense next week, why didn't the school catch it? They did not catch it when he applied for admission to the school. They did not catch it when he registered and enrolled. They did not catch it when he graduated. Come on. Is Chicago University that clueless? Something is definitely wrong somewhere, and we are about to find out. Number 4, a copy of the transcript that was issued to him in 1977 by Southwest College. This document also allegedly showed Bola Tinubu as female. You begin to see the pattern here. If they were clueless at Chicago State University that they cannot tell male from female, were they also clueless at Southwest College? Strange, right? As someone intimately familiar with the university system in the West, I can tell you that the only way they would have made such a mistake, especially as at the time, that is over 40 years ago, would be if the person who presented it was actually female. You may make that what you may. Number 5, the 5th document presented to the petition by the PDP is a copy of the notarized judgment on criminal asset forfeiture proceedings in the United States. This is the basis for a different petition, but Bola Tinubu's personal details in this document will be used to support the forgery case. Here are key points to focus on in this document. What is the full name listed in the document? What was his age? Was he referred to as male or female? Okay, number 6, the 6th document, a copy of Bola Tinubu's National Youth Service Corps NYSC certificate. This document, according to the PDP, bore the name Adekunle. Who is this mysterious Adekunle of a guy that we keep hearing? Is he the same as Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Well, we shall find out. Number 7, a copy of the Form EC9, which contains the affidavit of personal details of Bola Tinubu. This, finally, is the biggest problem. This affidavit is a legal attestation. It is an oath to say that what it contains is true. However, according to the PDP, personal information of Bola Tinubu contained in this document does not match with the information in the other documents I have just listed. It is important to know that despite the protestation of objection by the lawyers for Tinubu and the APC, the tribunal admitted all these documents as evidence. Okay, now that you know the gravity of the case against Bola Tinubu vis-a-vis the evidence allegedly showing that he is not who he claimed to be, what do you think the court will do? How will they rule? Well, it is important to state upfront that it is difficult to tell exactly how a judge or a panel of judges will rule in any case. What seems so straightforward for us sometimes can have legal twists and turns that will make the court judgment to be completely strange. Still, we can't speculate. One of the ways we can try to make a truly analytical and educated guess, is to look at what the court has done before in a similar case. This is what is referred to as precedent, or, if you like, legal precedent. This is going to get a bit technical, guys, but I want you to bear with me a little bit because it is the whole point of the forgery case being brought against Bola Tinubu by the PDP and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Legal precedents are a crucial aspect of judicial decision-making process. It is basically like asking, what did the other judge who looked at a similar case to this one say? How did another judge looking at the same set of evidence or facts decided on the issue? Judges are required to give precedence or follow the same rulings, especially if the other judge is from a higher court, for example, an appeals court or the Supreme Court. You can see why this is important, right? It saves time, it makes giving judgment a bit easier and faster, plus it allows for consistency in the entire judicial process. Basically, it prevents judges from just ruling and doing whatever they want. It is for this reason lawyers are so quick to point out to judges that another judge, especially from a higher court, has already ruled on a similar matter. Now, this becomes even clearer if the court that previously ruled on that matter is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. Whatever is decided there is final. Every lower court has to obey. As it turns out, the Supreme Court in Nigeria has previously ruled on certificate forgery cases relating to elections in Nigeria. I'm going to list two prominent cases that sound similar to Bola Tinubu's case as a way for us to gauge and guess what the judges may be thinking as they hear and decide on this case. Before I list the cases, there's a little wrinkle I must mention that complicates things a little bit. I said before that the Supreme Court is the final arbiter of the law. They cannot be reversed in the lower courts, meaning lower courts cannot give a different ruling in a similar case already decided by the Supreme Court. However, the Supreme Court can reverse itself. It does not happen very often, but it does happen occasionally. They can rule one way, and when a similar case comes to them another time, they can rule in an opposite way. When this happens, their latest ruling becomes the precedent, the law, which all other courts must follow. I want you to hold on to this thought as I list two important relevant cases of election forgery in which the Supreme Court has previously ruled in Nigeria. 1. The Supreme Court on Friday, March 10, 2017 affirmed the judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja sacking Mr. Christian Abba as a member of the House of Representatives representing Ado Okpoko Ogbadigbo Federal Constituency of Benue State. Justice Adeniyi Ademola of the Federal High Court in Abuja had, in an earlier judgment delivered on February 8, 2016, sacked Abba for submitting a forged certificate of academic qualification to INEC. The five-person panel of the Supreme Court, led by Justice Mary Peter Odili, ruled that having been found to have forged the ordinary national diploma certificate purportedly issued to him in 1985 by the Federal Polytechnic Mubi Adamawa State, Abba remained disqualified to contest the election into the National Assembly. For that case, the lead judgment read by Justice Sidi Bage, I hope I pronounced that name right, said, allowing criminality and certificate forgery to continue to percolate into the streams, waters and oceans of our national polity will only mean that our waters are and will remain dangerously contaminated. The judge ordered INEC to issue fresh certificate of return to Abba's first runner-up in the People's Democratic Party's primary election held on December 2014, that is to Mr. Hassan Saleh. Okay, that's the number one case. Certificate forgery. The Supreme Court ruled that the subject of litigation, Chris Abba, disqualified for providing forged documents. Now let's go to the second case. The second case of certificate forgery ruled on by the Supreme Court is that case of David Leon of Bayelsa State. Mr. Leon, who won the November 2019 governorship election, was to be sworn in as governor on Friday, February 12, 2020. However, a five-member panel of the Supreme Court, again led by Justice Mary Odili, nullified the election of Mr. Leon on the grounds that his deputy, Bio Barakuma Deji Eremienyo, presented false information to INEC to support his qualification for the November 16 governorship election in that state. Looking at this, I just begin to think how I wish Justice Mary Odili is still in the Supreme Court. Anyways, the court also ordered that INEC should immediately declare the party with the highest number of lawful votes and geographical spread the winner of the election. As it turns out, it was the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Diri Duoye, who was then inaugurated as the governor of Bayelsa State. He's still the governor now. In this ruling, pay attention to how the judges were interested not just in the forgery, but also in the fact that the person to be sworn in must have the most votes as well as the geographical spread. This should remind you of another case, the 25% requirement for Abuja instituted by the Labour Party against Bola Tinubu. That's a separate case. As you can see, precedents have been set for these kind of cases. But before I go further, there are two important cases that has to do with forgery and inconsistencies in personal details that we should also consider. The first occurred in the nascent Fourth Republic in 1999. The case did not go to court, but it is relevant because it shows how seriously the case against Bola Tinubu is. It was the certificate forgery allegation against Salisu Buhari, the then newly elected Speaker of the House of Rep in that corresponding National Assembly. The news of Mr. Buhari's age and certificate forgery first broke out on the 16th of February 1999 by an investigative news magazine. The magazine reported that Salisu Buhari was born in 1970, not 1963 as he claimed, and also that he never graduated from the University of Toronto. The article also claimed that Buhari not only never graduated but also never even attended the university. When Mr. Buhari was confronted with the allegations of fraud, of course, he initially denied them, until upon request, the University of Toronto at that time officially denied having any record of his attendance in the university. So what happened next? On July 23, 1999, disgraced and trapped, Buhari admitted to falsifying his age and forging certificates. He then did the honorable thing and apologized. He said, I quote, "I apologize to the nation. I apologize to my family and friends for all the distress I have caused them. I was misled in error by a zeal to serve the nation. I hope the nation will forgive me and give me the opportunity to serve again." He then resigned from the House of Rep. I wish all these politicians would do that now. The other case is less clear-cut and, in my opinion, very unfortunate. It is the case of Senator Evans Ewerem. These two did not go to court, but has significance for our purposes because it has to do with forgery or inconsistency in personal record in Nigerian politics. In the Fourth Republic in 1999, the first elected president of the upper chamber, Senator Evans Ewerem, had inconsistency in his name. Some documents showed him as Evan, while others showed him as Evans, even though the last name was the same, Ewerem. For this, what some people will call frivolous, he was impeached as the Senate president and replaced by late Chuba Okadigbo. Now, you can see why the case against Bola Tinubu on his certificate forgery and name inconsistency is not as trivial as the APC would have you believe. Atiku, in the joint petition filed alongside his party, is insisting that President Tinubu demonstrated inconsistency as to his actual date of birth, the secondary school he attended, his state of origin, gender, actual name, and university certificates. That is a lot. The PDP and Atiku are claiming that the degree certificate submitted by Bola Tinubu to INEC, allegedly acquired at Chicago State University, does not belong to him but to a female described as F in the certificate bearing the name Bola Tinubu. This is serious. However you look at it, this is a very important case that will set great precedent for Nigerian politics for a long time to come. We don't know how the judges will rule, but whatever they are ruling, it will be significant and impactful. That is all I have for you guys. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe and like the video before you leave. Also, click on the bell notification icon to get more updates from us. I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.